Good evening and welcome to this edition of the Evening News for today, Thursday, May 6, 2021. I'm Jemima Holmes. Thank you for tuning in. Now let's take a look at some of the lead stories tonight. Vendors, consumers complain about drastic hike in food prices. Gold Scholarship beneficiaries required to provide community service. 200 million payment to sugar workers is compensation for mistreatment. Illegal firing, says AG. Man found dead at Buxton, and 680 million in ganja destroyed at Ibini. And now for the news in detail. In recent times, there have been stark increases in prices for various food items across the country. The Evening News's Ebony Giles and Paul Van Veld visited some markets in the capital city, Georgetown, where they spoke to vendors and consumers who voiced their concerns about this current trend. Here are the details.
When Evening News visited the border market, Georgetown, today, consumers explained that the hike in prices has placed a dent into their usual grocery budget. They related that the costs of many staple food items have increased by as much as 100%. One shopper told this newscast that as a pensioner and a self-employed caterer, she has been finding it difficult to purchase all of her required groceries. She further explained that the additional costs at the markets have been affecting her business's profitability.
It affects me in a way that I have to be stretching my money right now because I came to make some purchases and I cannot buy everything that I need, because I do some catering and I would have to pass on my increase to my customers, and I don't really like to do that, Cheese, channel, and things like that. Well, a couple of days now for my estimation, because sometimes you would buy and the prices are standard and you just glance through the bill. But then when you get home and you take time off to check through your bill, you would find that some of the items, the prices have been, and you start querying it in your mind, would want to go back and ask the shopkeeper what happened, but then you hear the prices have escalated. They've increased and they have to pass it on to us because it's not fair to them too. So we need some more money because I think I need some more money on my pensions so that I can be able to live, and to be healthy, because the things that I buy, like juices and so, I need to have enough money so that I can buy that, and for my mom too.
Another shopper who's also a caterer echoed similar concerns.
My name is Denise, and the prices of the things keep going up. Every time you come to the market, prices raise because I'm self-employed, and you have to be careful how you raising your product to the customer, because you remember now it's competitiveness is going on out there, so you have to be very careful how you're just raising your price, And I think they need to do something about the price ranging because, like to me now, the market, nothing is stable. Like anybody just sell at a price. Like long ago you had to sell within a price range. And I think they need to look into that because you find it very hard. But right now it's myself and my daughters living. But when you're vegetarian, things is very costly. Because you have to be buying almond milk. Remember, you're not eating fruit, you have to find other ways and means of getting protein. Now look, for example, I came today to buy channel, was 180, a pint now channel is 240. So how would you able to deal with your customer from 180 now to 240? So you just can't be raising the price because you're going to leave without your customers. So I would really appreciate if they could really look into that.
Meanwhile, vendors told this newscast that the inflated prices have been trickling down from wholesalers. As a result, they related that as retailers, they are now forced to hike up prices to remain profitable.
My name is Alison Edwards. Oil price, only last week we paid $300 to this oil. This morning is $46. The 5-gallon oil Last week it was 7,000. This morning I want some is $9,000. Every week you go to buy something in the store, it raise. Oil raise, sugar raise, flour raise, everything raise. Every time you go, you buy something now it sell back. When it sell, you got paying like double the price.
All these goods price just going up. Today, for instance, today this oil last week was $375. Now it's $400 wholesale. Every single thing just keep going up. And look the condition of this market. Look the condition of this market, and they wanted to raise the stand rent. People ain't getting money in this country, and everything just keep going up. These things started to go up, like let me say, from the starting of last month, to my knowledge, because I don't buy every day, every week, you know. But from the starting of last month, everything just keep going up.
And how has it been affecting your sales?
Terrible, terrible it affecting sales, because sometimes the people come and you tell them, how the oil is so much money? Mom, this is what we pay, this is what we gotta sell for. And some of them would just walk away. Some of them would stop and buy, but few people buy.
In Berbice, a similar situation exists.
When I go in the supermarket, everything raised. It's everything raised. And you know, raise $1 and $2. You raise by 100.
This trend is not happening in Guyana alone. Internationally, food prices continue to climb rapidly. This is according to a report issued by the Food and Agriculture Organization, FOA, of the United Nations. The May 6th report stated that as of April 2021, the price index for dairy products, meats, cereals, and oils have risen by some 1.2% to 1.8% compared to that of April 2020. Reporting for the Evening News, Ebony Giles.
Persons who benefit from online scholarships under the government's Guyana Online Academy of Learning Goal initiative are required to provide community service as part of a contractual obligation. Here is Ebony Giles again with the details.
The government's Department of Public Information, DPI, today posted some frequently asked questions about the Goal Scholarship Initiative, whereby it was revealed that the program has contractual obligations. The first question asked whether there is a contractual obligation for the scholarships. The response reads, yes. However, this is not in the traditional sense, as scholarships usually offered by the Ministry of Public Service, which attract a 5-year contract. There will be mandatory community service dependent upon the duration of the program completed. Details will be provided in the contract. It was further explained that the community service may be done in any private or public organization, including a non-governmental organization. It was also noted that beneficiaries are not required to work in the public service. It was further noted that persons in the private sector are eligible to apply for the scholarships. Moreover, it was noted that anyone who is 18 years or older can register for a scholarship. Any person can apply for a maximum of 3 programs, but they can only be admitted into one. Additionally, Goal noted that it will be seeking accreditations at the national level for all programs being offered in due time. Additionally, it was explained that persons who are not granted a scholarship will have the opportunity to pay for a program. However, no payment plan has yet been established. Ministers and other government officials are currently visiting communities across the country, encouraging residents to apply for these scholarships. Goal is a partner initiative between the Ministries of Education and Public Service, providing 85 programs for online studies at 5 recognized universities. Some 4,500 scholarships will be granted in July of this year. Reporting for the Evening News, Ebony Giles.
We now tell you that Attorney General and Legal Affairs Minister Anil Nandlal has rubbished criticisms over a recent decision to pay sugar workers outstanding wage increases amounting to some 200 million. According to Nandlal, this payment is a sort of compensation to sugar workers who were mistreated and arbitrarily dismissed by the APNU AFC administration when it downsized the sugar industry during its 5-year tenure in office. Vanu Manikchand has the story.
Attorney General Anil Nandlal made this remark during his weekly program Issues in the News, during which he dismissed the criticism raised about the 200 million payment to sugar workers.
Speaking about these workers, for no reason, not their fault, bread was taken away from them and their family for nearly 2 years or 3 years. And we promised them. They are Guyanese. They contributed to this country, and they are contributing to this country. Just like how we pay, and we are still paying, the light bill for the people of Region 10, running into hundreds of millions of dollars a year. We are paying for that. All of us are paying for that. What happened if we give the sugar workers $200 million compensation for their mistreatment and the illegal firing by the previous government?
Following protest action across the country by sugar workers over outstanding wage and salary increases, government last month approved a 6-month pay hike for the year 2019 amounting to some $200 million. This was after the Guyana Agricultural and General Workers Union GAU and the Guyana Sugar Corporation GAISUCU were embroiled in a public spat over the issue, forcing Vice President Bart Jagdeo to intervene and announce the retroactive payment. But President of the Guyana Public Service Union, GPSU Patrick Yard, had subsequently criticized the move and was quoted as saying that government had responded to protests from workers in the sugar sector, but yet refuses to make a similar consideration for public sector workers. In response, however, GAU defended the decision, saying this was one of the messes the current administration had inherited. The union further reminded of GPSU's silence when thousands of sugar workers who had toiled to contribute to Guyana's development were placed on the breadline under the previous coalition regime. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manikchand.
Residents of the quarantine are at their wits' end with the practice of some who leave large deposits of mud on the highway. In this report, our Berbice correspondent Andrew Carmichael examines the situation, which many believe can lead to detriment on the roadway.
Large deposits of mud are being left on the quarantine highway. The mud deposits are left behind by vehicles coming out of the back dams. Residents who spoke with this newscast off camera contended that not only does the situation pose a major eyesore, it can cause harm and accidents on the roadway. On the upper quarantine, there are reports of vehicles skidding off of the road as a result of the mud. The Rice Producers Association had promised to grade the mud off of the road from number 43 village to Crabwood Creek, but this is yet to be done.
I came up here to do some business at Corriverton here, and I think the mud on the road is very dangerous to pedestrians and vehicles coming along this way. I think they should really look into it and do something about it.
It is an offense for tractors to come onto the road with their cage wheels. Residents say worsening the situation is that trucks park on the road shoulders and discharge their paddy into grain carts which are parked alongside them, committing an offense which is referred to as double parking. Community activist Gobin Harbajan says the police should get involved.
Look at the condition of the quarantine public highway, the main road. Sheer mud we have. Over the past several months, I don't know what's getting into these rice farmers, that they're coming out from this main access dam with the grain cart and the paddy. They can simply discharge from the grain cart to the truck right at the dam edge rather than bring the thing on the public road in front of the gap and unload it. However, I'm also calling on the B Division Commander, the Traffic Chief, and the Regional Chairman to look into this with some urgency. It is not safe for pedestrians or motorists or even people using cycle.
Harbajan, who has been actively involved in condemnation of the practice over the past decade, says he had been making some headway in Region 6, but now the situation has gotten out of control.
All these things would have been, 60% would have been under control 6-7 years ago. I don't know what happened. Some people believe that because they have a change in government, they can just break the law. Well, and then in this region lately, I saw a good initiative by the road safety. The country road safety committee has formed in certain areas. I'm calling on the road safety chairmen, I'm calling on the RPA president to make signs, put up signs and let people know that to be cautioned because of what with all this mud on the road, because it's dangerous. If a strange driver from Georgetown come, he don't know some of these potholes on the road covered with water and mud, the man can see some serious accident.
For the evening news, Andrew Carmichael.
Coming up, 680 million in ganja destroyed at Ibini, and preparations are underway for a massive poultry feed project in Region 10. Do stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching the evening news. Police are investigating. Welcome back. You're watching the evening news. Police are investigating the circumstances surrounding the death of 46-year-old Sheldon Henry, whose partially decomposed body was found at Company Road, Buxton, East Coast, Demerara, at around 9 hours today. His family told this newscast that the man, who is a substance abuse addict, was last seen alive on Tuesday. No marks of violence were seen on the man's body, while investigations are ongoing. Some 600 pounds of processed cannabis along with 10,000 ganja plants were on Wednesday destroyed by police officers during a drug eradication exercise at Ibini, Upper Berbice River. Police say the drugs had a value of 680 million. During the exercise, police ranks visited 4 farms. At the first location, ranks came under fire. In total, ranks found several bulky packages of processed cannabis, along with 6 motorcycles and a wooden boat. The boat was later claimed by the Tushao of Sand Hills. Ranks subsequently visited the home of a cattle rancher where an unlicensed 12-gauge shotgun with 92 16-gauge cartridges and 15 12-gauge cartridges were found. The rancher was arrested and escorted to Central Police Station in New Amsterdam, and the firearm and cartridges were lodged there. The camps, cannabis, and farms were destroyed by fire. Preparations are moving apace for a massive poultry feed project to be based at Takama, Region 10. Through this public-private partnership, it is expected that Guyana will soon become the premier supplier of poultry feed in the region. Lekram Bagirat reports.
The Office of the President on Wednesday posted this video revealing that preparations are moving apace with the second cut being done on the 250 acres of land for the commercial trials for both corn and soybeans. It was noted that the seeds will be planted next month, with harvest projected for September. The project is being undertaken at Takama, Region 10. The products will be used for livestock feed. The Ministry of Agriculture had previously noted that Guyana's national feed consumption for the poultry industry is 113,000 metric tons annually. This feed comprises 60% grain, corn and rice, and 30% soybean meal. Reports indicate that Ghana usually imports some 100,000 tons of grains per annum of corn and soya, chiefly from the United States. But through a public-private partnership, Ghana is hoping to start growing its own grains on a large scale with the ultimate goal of becoming the best in the region for poultry feed. 6 local companies had joined forces to undertake in this massive project. They are the Guyana Stock Feeds Limited, Royal Chicken, Eden Farms, SBM Wood, Double Ranch, and Bounty Farms Limited, along with Brazilian-owned NF Agriculture. The partnership would see government investing in the public infrastructure. It was previously noted that this project would result in a substantial reduction in the cost of raw materials for livestock production while improving Guyana's competitive advantage in the global marketplace. Reporting for the Evening News, Lekram Bagirat.
Andrew Carmichael joins us now to report that questions have been raised about the accountability of the Health Department in Region 6 during today's sitting of the Regional Democratic Council. The questions were raised following revelations about the employment status of some community health workers. Here are the details.
49 community health workers were controversially appointed to health centers and other locations throughout the region from March 3, 2020. However, when the new administration took office in August last year, it was discovered that they had been asked to start working without being employed. The former administration did not put the necessary systems in place to support their employment, and as such, the workers were not being paid. The new administration made arrangements for them to collect 10 months' pay in December, with the understanding that they were not contracted by the government and were not needed after December 31. On Thursday, the issue was raised at the Region 6 RDC by Councillor Colin Moore, who questioned what has become of those workers. While the councillor is holding out that some of the workers are still on the job, Regional Executive Officer Navendra Prasad says that is not the case.
We found that they were trained, but they were never hired by the previous administration. I would have contacted my subject minister and also our vice president, who intervened, and I'm very thankful for that. And they were paid for whatever was outstanding, but they were never hired. So they prepared a different arrangement, and they were paid up to the end of December. They were told that's it. So they were never hired, so they cannot be rehired. So the issue about rehiring is a no, because they were never hired. So they were only just paid up to December. Clear guidance was provided that they will not be hired, much less be rehired. And that's my understanding, that no CHW should be working as we speak.
We know that the last time we met that we blamed the last administration for not doing the proper contract for them. But would the RE or the RH can say to this council, if any of those community health workers are working at these very health centers throughout this region? Because I'll say this, those community health workers are working as we speak. So it is reckless for us to say that we don't know if these people are working or they're volunteering, because we can have anybody go to these health centers and working and we don't know that they're working. We very well know that they're working, but we just feel as though we don't want to pay them, let them volunteer, let them waste some time, and that is wrong, Mr. Chairman. They're not politicians, and therefore they should not pay any price for what is going on here. We know fully well that they're working, and it's wrong. And regardless of what mistake the other administration made, as we are claiming, we should have done better in 2021. This is a new year, and therefore we can't blame the last government about what is happening here. We must take responsibility.
It is rather unfortunate that the people who brought them in the first case did not give them a contract. Is highly unconscionable.
We know that.
Without any
we're supposed to do better. We're supposed to do better.
Right now, that's what I'm saying. They were told very clearly, as the REO indicated, that we will pay you off for the time you work, although that was done on a basis of conscience. How do you think they get paid? If our government and these people who were in charge today didn't have a conscience, they would not have been paid. They were paid on the basis of a conscience.
For the Evening News, Andrew Carmichael.
There are 128 new cases of the novel coronavirus, taking the total positives recorded to date to 13,957. The death toll also increased to 310 after 2 more persons who were infected with the virus died. There are 16 persons in the ICU, 99 in institutional isolation, 1,745 in home isolation, and 8 in institutional quarantine. The recoveries are 11,787. With active COVID-19 cases surpassing 1,700, Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony has warned that a low rate of vaccination can be a deadly combination. During today's update on the situation in the country, Dr. Anthony gave a breakdown on some of the latest COVID-19 hotspots. Rupasina Ryan tells us more.
In Thursday's COVID-19 update, Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony said several hotspots have emerged within recent weeks, particularly in populated communities. These span across regions 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, and 10. Apart from the hotspots, several areas in Georgetown have reported between 15 to 20 new cases.
I would say in Region 2, the hotspot there would be Good Hope, where we have about 16 cases in and around that Good Hope area. In Region 3, over the last couple of weeks now, the hotspot there would have been in Tushin, and we continue to see cases in Tushin. And right now we have 39 active cases in Tushin. In Region 4, on the East Bank, we have seen Diamond consistently having cases, and as of today we have 46 active cases in Diamond. In Georgetown, the Sophia Kitty area has been a hot spot, and in Sophia we have about 30 cases. In Kitty we have about 24 cases. Then in Region 6, New Amsterdam, we have seen about 27 cases in New Amsterdam. In Region 7, Bartica has about 58 cases. In Region 9, as we spoke about just now, we have seen about 21 cases in Aishalton. So we know over the last week or so, there have been a few cases there, and it's now about 21, and we have been monitoring them.
The situation is worrying for Region 10, where cases are rising and vaccination uptake is below the regional average. According to Dr. Anthony, this can prove fatal. If the current circumstances prevail, more positives are predicted.
And in the Amila ward area, we have 50 cases right now in that area. So that's an area of concern as well. So one, we have cases that are increasing in areas of Region 10, and at the same time we have reluctance or hesitancy in terms of taking vaccines. So those two can be a deadly combination. So again, we need to be mindful, and I think the people there should come forward and start getting immunized, or else we'll see many more cases.
Rupa Sinarayan, The Evening News.
While Arrival Day celebrates the arrival of several ethnic groups in Guyana, the day holds special significance for East Indians. This is according to Region 6 Chairman David Armagan, who was one of the many who spoke during an event held at the Indian Arrival Monument at Palmyra, Berbice. Our Berbice correspondent Andrew Carmichael was there and filed this report.
The tributes were offered in memory of the country's foreparents who would have made various sacrifices, paving the way for what Guyana is today. It was on May 5, 1838 that the first set of East Indians arrived in Guyana. According to the High Commissioner, the arrival of East Indians in 1838 marked the beginning of the migration of a people who would have been at the forefront of the development of modern Guyana.
Mostly as indentured laborers under the British colonial rule. They came, they settled down here. I think about 75,000 of them went back from Guyana, back to motherland India. But the rest who stayed back made their mark. Whatever profession they have been in, be it politics, economics, sports, whatever you name them, in the cultural field, education, they have achieved a lot.
It was on this note that the regional chairman pointed out that Guyanese East Indians have contributed significantly to the development of Guyana and the diaspora.
Because if you look around in Guyana and elsewhere in the world, you will find the descendants of East Indians, laborers who came from India. You will find them in every sphere of economic activity and human activity in our country. So we can never discount the contribution of East Indians to Guyana and to the diaspora.
And that is something which I have always found in Guyana, that all of them want to work with India. I have dealt with the chairman here, the minister and all his colleagues. You know, India is working on numerous projects. Through the lines of credit and grants, we are working on about $100 million worth of roads, infrastructure, hospitals, ferry, solar energy, so many projects where we are sending experts.
But what is significant for today, May 5th, is the arrival of East Indians across the Kalahari. There were 396 souls that came from India to Guyana aboard the Hesperus Unity. And like the Indians and the other 5 races who came at different times, withstood those colonial days. And today is significant because we have come far. Our foreparents have come far, and that is why we're celebrating today.
The monument of Palmaria falls under the responsibility of the National Trust. It has several fountains, a playground, a visitors gallery, and is equipped with Wi-Fi. It also has facilities for cultural presentations. For the Evening News, Andrew Carmichael.
Meanwhile, a similar event was held at Highbury, where some East Indian natives had set foot in Guyana for the first time. There, several officials reflected on the contributions of East Indians to Guyana and the progress they have made over the years in preserving their culture. And now for a look at the bridge reports.